Welcome back everyone to Teaching Jobs Korea, and I'm going to start a new series of videos introducing different Hakwons to give the audience and future teachers an idea and also a chance to see the inside of a Hakwon, get an understanding of the program, and then also different age groups so that you can make a decision that actually makes sense for you. And today's company that we're going to introduce is at a school called Lanpus English Academy, and Lanpus is a kindergarten focused teaching position, which is also a part of a company called DYB, and DYB is a very big company which has been in business for about 30 years, and within the DYB umbrella they have various campuses. They have the Lanpus program which accommodates kindergarten, and then also they have the Creole program which accommodates lower elementary, and then they also have the regular DYB campuses which accommodate upper elementary to middle school students. And we're located here today at Lanpus. I'm going to show you the Lanpus program, and we're here in Hanam, which is also a very good city. Lanpus has two campuses, one in Songpa and then one also in Hanam, and we're here at the Hanam and going to show you the Hanam campus. And the city of Hanam is a very nice location right in the outskirts of southeast Seoul, so it has very easy access to public transportation, maybe about like 20 minutes away from Chamshir, and a lot of amenities within the city for convenience. So let's go check out Lanpus. Okay, so we're inside the campus of Lanpus, and I want to introduce you to teacher Kerry, who's been working here for about 3 years. Thank you for taking the time to talk to us today.
You're so welcome. Thank you for inviting me.
We're just going to check out the inside of the campus, and if you just notice right here, this is the front desk area. So say hi, everyone.
Hello.
And let's start the tour.
Yeah, of course. So nice to meet you. My name is Kerry, and I am the head teacher of Lanpus at Hanam. I've been working at Lanpus for the last 3 years between Songpa and Hanam campus. And yeah, please take a tour with us of Hanam Lanpus.
And just starting off here, I noticed that you made the library right in front right here with a lot of materials that you can kind of do the prep for teachers, right?
Yes.
And I do like that point. I guess, is this where like they get the books to do all the material prep, like the teachers do?
So the library area is for the students. We bring them here maybe twice a week, and we have storytelling with them. So we first read a book with them and all together, and then they have to choose books to take home, which is attached to our library program. So we work via SR and AR. So the students are kind of leveled on grade level. So every 3 months they take a test called SR test, and they are graded on different colors of what they can read. So the younger students, they probably read green books, like kind of really lower leveled, easier books, and then the higher leveled students read more chapter books. So
I can see a lot of students just kind of sitting here on the stools and just reading books, so I do like that picture that it kind of creates, right? And then it's a very modern interior with, I think Lanpus has a very high-tech system of, you know, their curriculum. It is also a school that I know that does a lot of renovations to their campus.
Yes.
So a lot of the DYB and Lanpus campuses are very, like the interior are very like well kept, I think, right?
Yes, that's right. And then our building's all new, so we were built around 2023. So our building is all tied together with the rest of DYB and Creole. So we have Creole downstairs on the first floor, and then Lanpus on the second, and then DYB on the rest of the floors.
How many students are on the Lanpus campus for Hanam?
Yeah, so we have currently right now 144 students.
Ah, okay. What about native teachers that work here?
So right now we have 15 native teachers, we have 12 homeroom classes, and then we have 3 substitute teachers currently.
This is the second floor. You told me that there's also like a play area on the top floor.
Yes, so currently right now we have our playroom where the students can come a few times a week just to kind of get out their pent-up energy. And then on the 6th floor, we actually have an AstroTurf soccer field. So in the summer, they're gonna have like gym out there, and they have soccer after school out there too.
What would be the primary age of students that I guess are taught at Lanpus?
So we have ages 5, 6, and 7. So those classes range from 5-1. We also have 6-1. We have 6-2. We also have 7-2 and 7-3. So the students are kind of leveled on their exposure to English so that they can learn in an environment where they're all in the same level and aren't struggling to understand.
Sounds good. Can we go check out your classroom?
Yes, sure. Welcome to my classroom. It's Harvard classroom. So this is my classroom. I currently teach 7-3, which is the highest level of students at Lanpus. My students have been learning English for the last 3 years, so they're like really, really conversational, like teaching a native student almost.
I guess what would be the primary focus of Lanpus, in their curriculum?
Our primary focus is their education in terms of their speaking and their writing output. So for Lanpus, we want to focus on their essay writing especially. So when the students go to elementary school, a lot of them want to go to the Gangnam Daechi area, so they have to learn how to write in maybe 5-paragraph essay format. So we really focus on writing here. We actually have a program called holistic writing, which is kind of weekend writing they do every single weekend. So for them, it's their speaking, comprehension, and especially their writing.
Another thing that I like about the Lanpus position too for teachers is that, like in other Hakwons, right, the teachers won't really have like a situated classroom where they teach from, and they're basically like hopping classrooms, right?
Yes.
I know of Lanpus that every teacher has their own classroom and the students come in for different classes.
Yes, that's correct. So we all have our own classroom, and then our students come here, so we don't have to switch out at all. Even in Songpa, where we have elementary, like you have your own homeroom classroom. So instead of like switching out teaching different students, you just have your own students that you can really get to know and like grow with over the year.
Okay. Well, let's talk a little bit more over coffee.
Yes.
So thank you again for sitting down, enjoying coffee.
Yeah, thank you.
And just to kind of get to know you, Kerry, and I guess you've been out in Korea for how long now?
Yeah, so I moved to Korea in 2019, around May 2019. So I've been here the whole time.
That's a long time.
I think maybe I've visited home like 3 times maybe in that time, but yeah, I've been situated here the whole time.
I guess what would be like the best thing that you like about Korea so far?
So for me, like I really like the people. I feel very comfortable here. Like for me, like I'm from UK and in Scotland, so our people are very like generous and warm. So I felt a very similar like vibe when moving to Korea.
I think you even found love here too.
I did, yes. So I met my husband here 4 weeks after moving to Korea, actually. Yeah, so pretty fast.
Yeah. And then being that I know that you've been in Korea for a few years now and working in, I guess, different types of Hakwons, right? I know that you worked at a few other Hakwons before you started working at Lanpus. I guess within that time, how would you describe Lanpus to be different than the other Hakwons that you worked at, and what kind of led you to making a decision to work here?
Yeah. So before, working at Lanpus, I worked at other academies. And when I first came to Korea, I was like new to teaching. So I kind of just thrown in the deep end. So working at those academies, I think I kind of struggled. I learned through myself almost. And then I made the move to Seoul. And that's when I found Lanpus and like interviewed with yourself first and then with my program director. I think for me, the minute I started working at Lanpus, I knew it was the place I should be working at. Lanpus have a lot of trust in their teachers. They have really good communication. But I think above all is the curriculum is really great, and the curriculum is set for the whole year. So instead of having to use all my time to prepare my own material, I was able to use their curriculum to like organize my class better. So I really liked how their curriculum set apart other academies.
Okay. So I guess what would be the general like outlook of a teacher schedule in Lanpus?
Okay. So general outlook, our schedule is like every day kind of varies, and then we start work at 8:50. So we arrive at Lanpus at 8:50, and then we work until 5. But our kindergarten students are here from 9 until 2:40. So the day kind of varies. We teach all English-based subjects, and then we have certain subjects in the day, such as like art or gym, that we don't teach. So we have some prep time through our daily schedule too. And then when the students go home at 2:40, then afterwards we either have prep time or we could have maybe like an after school class. So the day is structured really well compared to what I'm used to before.
Yeah.
And there's a lot more time set for prep for the teacher.
Would you say there's a good balance of prep time and then also, actual teaching time?
Yeah, I think there's a really good balance between both. When I first came to Lanpus and worked in Songpa, I had a 7-2 class. So they have a lot of homework that they do, but I felt like my schedule was set in a good way that I could manage all the grading while I was at Lanpus. And then even now as head teacher of Hanam, like I have a lot more responsibility, of course, but my classwork I can manage really easily because of my schedule.
But I think also because you had a little bit of teaching experience in Korea before you jumped into Lanpus, I think it was a lot more easier for you to kind of adapt to things because you had a good understanding of what Korea offered.
Yeah.
I guess what type of teacher do you think would match very well at like a position at Lanpus? Because like some teachers don't match at certain schools, some schools just don't match with other teachers, like things that they're looking for. I guess what would be like a good match for Lanpus? Like what type of teacher?
I think the thing I always look for, even like when I'm interviewing too, is flexibility. Like someone who's flexible and know the realities of kind of like working and educating in Korea. I think for Lanpus, our standard of education is really high and the output that the parents want is pretty high too. So someone who's willing to kind of put in the extra mile and then also like flexible.
I think good like time management skills and just being a little bit more on the organized end will probably be very good too.
Yes.
But one thing I also do like about Lanpus is that I think for teachers that are looking at a position, not just like 1 year, right? I don't think Lanpus would be considered like, it's not a very good 1 year school. I think when you look at it, like you're looking at your projection of your positions like 2-3 years.
Yes.
I think it's a good position because the salary base is very competitive and I think the working hours are also very manageable compared to a lot of other Hakwons that give like high salary bases. Would you say that was pretty accurate?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think like, yeah, someone who kind of already has some experience here, but you're right about like salary is very competitive, so it's somewhere that they can comfortably like settle into. So that would be something.
Also very stable too, because they're, you know, payment, benefits, I think they're all within the Korean labor laws.
Yeah, so there's like, yeah, really a lot of career growth, I think, in Lanpus, and then DYB is a company. So there's a lot of opportunity if, you know, you want to make your base here in Korea and you see yourself staying here a long time. They put a lot of effort into you.
I guess what would be like the best part of your job
You
enjoy the most?
Yeah. So, of course, as a teacher, the best part of my job is their growth, right? My students' growth. I have taught many levels in Korea, like first-year level learners. I've taught second, third-year level learners. But just seeing their outcome and like how much hard work they put in is really rewarding. But particularly working in Hanam, like my teaching staff are amazing. They're so positive, like so warm, so welcoming, just helpful for everyone. And everyone's like a team player. So I think that's my favorite part of my job.
Would you say that you get a good support from like the Korean staff, you know, so that you're able to kind of execute your role as as a native teacher?
Yes. So I've worked with my program director, Miss Irene, the whole time that I've worked at Lanpus. So we kind of worked together in Songpa, and then we moved and opened this campus together. So we have a very like strong personal and also like professional relationship. So because of that, we've made a good dynamic with each other. So she can clearly communicate to me, and then I can clearly communicate to my teaching staff.
And I think communication is a very important aspect to a position, right? And I don't think people really realize that until they actually start teaching.
Yeah.
Because I think the communication objective has to be quite clear for the teacher to prepare properly and then execute what they're teaching, right? I guess what are some of the pros and cons of working at a Hakwon? Just in general, you know, because there's public schools, there's Hakwons, you know, there's international schools. And
I think the pros of working here is definitely like the difference between working in your home country and then working in Korea is that the parents are really involved in what the students want to learn. So the students put in a lot of effort and they put in so much effort at home. So you're able to get more out of them. So I think that's a big pro of working here. And then the salary tends to be, of course, higher than maybe working at a public school. So there's a lot of like pros in that sense. And I think it depends on where you work, but we have like around 15 teachers here. So we can really make a family together. Like working in Korea can be very isolating and like you're by yourself. So you have a family together. Like you have friends here, colleagues, but I suppose working at a public school, you could be by yourself or like placed in multiple areas where you have to travel a lot. And then maybe the cons is I think when you first come here, like you have to adjust, like it's a lot to adjust culturally, languages, everything. And then even like, yeah, even the parental involvement can be a lot to get used to in the beginning. But
would you say when you first came out here, like sometimes it's a little, like, you know, Korea is very competitive. The parents have very high expectations. Did you kind of get that sense of like, wow, it's very competitive here?
So yeah, I got that sense very quickly, of course. So when I worked in Jeonju, like I know it's a smaller town, but the moms are really involved because of the type of town it is, and they want to have like a similar output to maybe Seoul students. So I realized really quickly that I had to adjust and then kind of work with them to help the students.
I know that you transferred over to the Hanam campus from the Songpa campus, which is in Seoul, right? So you had a chance to live in Seoul, and then also you had a chance to live in, you know, Hanam. I guess which area do you prefer living in?
For me, I prefer living in Hanam. So I love Seoul, but Hanam is so accessible to Seoul. So like I can go to Seoul whenever. But Hanam like is very like quiet and homey, and everything I need is here. I can Like if I need the doctor, it's here. If I want to go grocery shopping, it's here. Like anything, yeah.
I guess when you first came out here, what was like the hardest part about adjusting to Korea? Like the culture, the food?
Yeah, so probably I think language, is the biggest barrier for me. Like when I first made the decision to move out here, it was so sudden and fast. So I couldn't even read Hangul when I like moved to Korea. So I had to like really adjust that way. So.
But then within 4 weeks, you found a Korean boyfriend, so he was doing all the translating for you.
So he did all the translating for me, right? But yeah. Definitely the language, I think. But I think because I lived in a small town, adjusting was a bit easier. Maybe prefer, like if I had moved to Seoul, I might have been more overwhelmed. But
would you say like trying to understand the culture will help you better adapt to not only at work, but also like in your living, environment too, right?
I think knowing about the culture and the kind of realities of education here is really important for someone before they move over, I think.
Okay, and then finally, I guess, there's going to be a lot of new teachers coming out, especially with March coming around too, right? And then I guess what would be some tips that you can give to new teachers coming out to just be aware of and that would be helpful in their adjustment in Korea?
I think tips is, first of all, like learn a bit of the language. So like conversational like words or like being able to read the alphabet is going to really help you. I think studying again about the culture, but maybe really researching the school that you're about to move to and the city you're about to move to. I think joining a bunch of like Facebook groups is helpful, like reaching out to people that already live here and like trying to build some connections so that when you come, you have like some form of comfort or just someone to chat to about your day.
That's good advice.
Good.
Thank you for taking the time to talk to us today. It was a pleasure.
Thank you.
Finally seeing you in person too, right?
Our first meeting.
Yeah, I placed Kerry here about 3 years ago, and then I'm very happy to see her start as a teacher, and then now, you've moved up.
Thank you.
To head teacher. So.
Thank you for recommending me to Lanpus.
No, I think any school would have been happy to have you.
Thank you.
Hopefully, the information that we provided about Lanpus, the company, and the program was informative so that you can kind of see what Lanpus is really about and also give you some ideas about like what a Hakwon is, the programs inside, what the campus looks like, and hopefully it can help you in, I guess, helping you decide whether or not, the kinder program is right for you and whether this area is also good for you as well. So please join us again and we'll be back with more videos. Thank you.